bomb to give North Georgia the lead and closed out the game in the circle for the Nighthawks. As the throw to second gets away here in Dahlonega. The order of the doubleheader today, same as yesterday. Lake Erie up first, West Florida soon to follow. Should be another great day of softball here at the Hill. Again, glad you decided to join us alongside the rest of the Nighthawk Sports Network team. Robert D. Clementi on hand for you this afternoon. Getting the start in the circle for the Nighthawks is Chloe Poss. We saw her start that game against West Florida yesterday. She had an early exit after letting up those 3 runs in the first inning for the Argos. She's looking for a little bit of redemption here today. An uncharacteristic performance there from Poss. Pitches the 1-1. This is bunted high up into the air and fouled. So the count's going to move to 1-2. Got Emma Spar on first. And Maddie Eckert up to bat right now for Lake Erie. Eckert, the freshman out of Oxford, Michigan, and Lake Orion High School. Takes the 1-2 from Poss. A bunt that just rolls foul. Had that one had just a little bit less steam on it. Could have been a perfectly placed bunt there from the catcher. She will have another crack at it here. Correction, C.J. Garcia up to bat right now for the Hawk, for Lake Erie. As Chloe Poss pitches one down the middle for a strike. Lake Erie about 30 minutes ago just wrapped up the first game of day 2 of the Mizuno Invitational against West Florida. Fell in that game 2-15 in 5 innings. Throw to third to Roberts. Doesn't get there quite on time, and so Lake Erie threatening to put their first runs up on the board against North Georgia this weekend with a runner on first. Still looking for their first hit this weekend against the Nighthawks as well. The 1-1 from Poss. This one's going to be fouled up the left field line. As we said in the opener, Angelina Badalament and Caroline Connor pitched a combined no-hitter shutout. A sensational showing in the circle. We'll talk more about Badalament later. The count's now 1-2. And the pitch from Poss. A swing and a miss as Chloe Poss picks up her first strikeout of the afternoon. Brings us to 2 outs here in the top of the first. And that's going to bring up the DP, Lily Turkowski, the freshman out of Fenton, Michigan, and Fenton High School. Takes a pitch outside from Poss for a ball. Lake Erie was able to put up a pair of runs late against West Florida. Key word there, just a little too late for Lake Erie in that one, as this one goes right back to the glove of Chloe Poss. A heads-up play with the ball coming right at her. Makes the grab for out number 3. We're headed to the home half of the first, where Sydney Reeves is going to lead things off for the Nighthawks. When we come back, you're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
No matter how you connect, ETC delivers fast, reliable internet and secure, powerful Wi-Fi choices for your home. For intense gaming, easy sharing, and buffer-free streaming on every device all at once. With local experts ready to help. Connect to faster internet. Connect to awesome Wi-Fi. Connect to now. Call or visit etcnow.com to upgrade your internet today.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
Back with you here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium. A beautiful Sunday afternoon for softball here at the Hill. Temperatures in about 70 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. Perfect conditions here to round out day 2 of the 2025 Mizuno Invitational. Nighthawks are up to bat here in the bottom of the first inning. Batting lineup identical to what we saw yesterday. Reeves is going to lead off the batting order here for the Nighthawks, followed by Miles, Natalie Ray, Knowles, Brumby, Johnson, Moody, Laval Masonette, and then Journey Roberts is going to round out that batting order for Coach O'Hare and the Hawks in this matchup against Lake Erie. Starting pitcher for the Storm, Sydney Murray. We saw her make an appearance yesterday in that game against North Georgia. Pitched just 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, a pair of runs. Both of those runs were earned. Walked a trio of Nighthawk batters. Didn't record a strikeout in that one. Only got to face 5 Nighthawk batters in yesterday's outing. Reeves down in the count 0-1, takes ball 1. And Reeves was just absolutely dominant yesterday. 7 at-bats, had 3 hits, 2 walks drawn. Scored 3 runs while she was on base. A trio of RBIs and a triple on her first at-bat here at the Hill. Hits one high into left field, and that one is going to hit the wall. Reeves is going to go for 2. Will she go for 3? Yes, she will. And Sydney Reeves, another triple for the Hawks this weekend. She has just been absolutely deadly up to bat. And a triple in and of itself is just an extremely rare thing to have, and now in back-to-back outings for Reeves, back-to-back days, she is just a special player. That's going to bring up the second baseman, Jenna Miles, with a runner in scoring position early here for North Georgia. Takes ball 1 outside. Over the 2 games yesterday, Miles was 3 for 5 at the plate, drew a walk, scored 3 runs, and had an RBI as well. The 1-0. This one's going to be grounded up the left field line. Throw to first. Gets it there on time. Reeves makes a break for it to home plate, and she's going to be safe. Reeves showing off her speed early here in this one, and it's an early 1-0 lead for North Georgia. That was a heads-up play by Sydney Reeves. The infield for Lake Erie had a couple of options, but waited a bit too late, decided to make the throw to first to get the out instead of keeping the run-up off the board. So the Nighthawks with the early 1-0 lead brings up the DH, Natalie Ray. Ray recorded her first hit as a Nighthawk in yesterday's game against Lake Erie. Went 1 for 2 at the plate, scored a run as well. That hit had an RBI attached to it. She also reached base on a walk. Only got 2 plate appearances from her in that game 1 against Lake Erie. It was just a 5-inning game in which the Nighthawks run-ruled the Storm 15-0. The Storm have let up 15 runs now in 2 games this weekend. 1 against North Georgia and 1 against West Florida earlier today. They were looking to score early here against the Nighthawks, but Chloe Poss and this infield kept them off the board. The 3-0 to Natalie Ray is going to cut it inside for strike 1. Ray went 2 for 5 overall in yesterday's game, batted .400, grounds this one to short, and it gets past him. Ray is going to get a base out of that. Ball trickled past the shortstop, Lippiat, and that's going to be another base hit here for North Georgia. And that's going to bring up the catcher, Carly Knowles. In total yesterday, she went 3 for 5 across both games at the plate. Drew a walk. Had 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored. And just about every Nighthawk, 1 through 9 in this starting lineup, had multiple hits as Ray uses her speed to slide into second, puts a runner in scoring position for Carly. Counts 1-0 back at the plate. Got Brumby on deck. And the 1-0, again outside. Last time Knowles faced this Lake Erie team, almost 24 hours ago, she was a perfect 3 for 3 at the plate against the Storm. And the 2-0 cuts it close for ball 3. Murray gets the signal, delivers the 3-0. This one cuts it just inside for strike 1. Murray still looking for her first strikeout here in this one against the Nighthawks. Her first of the weekend. Gets the signal, delivers the 3-1. This one high. May have gotten a piece of Knowles in the helmet, but regardless, she's going to make it to first, putting 2 runners on for Mary Seal Brumby. Brumby in total yesterday, 2 for 6 at the plate with an RBI. Scored a pair of runs as well. Brumby quickly becoming a veteran presence on this North Georgia team. After 10 seniors graduated after the 2024 season, Brumby now in the latter half of her collegiate softball career in her junior year. Takes the 1-0 outside for ball 2. Brumby, a national champion, part of that 2023 North Georgia softball team that won it all against Grand Valley State back in May of 2023. Takes the 2-0 outside for ball 3. Brumby's able to watch another one go past her. It'll load the bases for Caitlin Johnson, who's on deck. And the 3-0 to Brumby. Doesn't swing, doesn't have to for ball 4. Bases are now juiced for Caitlin Johnson. Caitlin Johnson, also sensational yesterday, went 4 for 6 at the plate across both games against Lake Erie in West Florida. Had a pair of RBIs, 2 runs scored, and she had back-to-back multi-hit games. Had 2 in the first and 2 in the second. She's going to take ball 1. She's gotten the starting nod from Coach O'Hare this season, was primarily used as a pinch runner last season. Everybody knows, if you follow North Georgia softball, the speed that Johnson has. But her bat has been fired up here in 2025. Takes the 1-0. outside for ball 2. And this is going to warrant a meeting in the circle for Lake Erie. With the bases loaded, Murray still looking for her first strikeout, has pitched a handful of balls here against North Georgia. So the Storm are going to talk things over here, and so will Coach O'Hare and the Nighthawks. Just a quick meeting, and we are ready to rock and roll here at the Hill. The Nighthawks, they had a stretch of back-to-back base hits yesterday, mostly resulting in doubles in yesterday's game against Lake Erie, which came in the first inning. Every time someone was on second, they'd just be replaced with whoever was up to bat, resulting in just an onslaught of North Georgia runs. Johnson now up in the count 3-0. Doubt she's going to swing on this next pitch unless it's absolutely perfect from Murray. Takes the 3-0 and takes strike 1. Murray, the sophomore out of Chardon, Ohio, trying to work her way back into this count, prevent North Georgia from putting another run up on the board. And the 3-1 pitch to Johnson. This is going to drop in left field, and Johnson's going to score 2. Nighthawks put up a pair of runs courtesy of the bat of Johnson. She has been on fire this weekend, has a hit in every single game, and she puts the Nighthawks up 3-0. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Riley Moody. Yesterday across both games, Moody went 1 for 6 at the plate. That one hit did have an RBI attached to it, scored a run as well. Takes a pitch upstairs for ball 1. Runners still on second and first for North Georgia. Got Johnson on first, Brumby over there on second. The 1-0 to Moody, again outside. Moody, a familiar face to this Nighthawk program in her second year as the starting shortstop after transferring in from Wallace State. The 2-0, again outside. Nighthawks threatening to juice the bases once again. You got Chloe Poss on deck here for North Georgia, so we are going to see Poss bat for the first time here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill this season. Moody takes the 3-0, takes a crack at it, and the throw to short doesn't get there. Brumby is going to come home. Johnson's going to stop in her tracks at third, and Riley Moody gets a double and gets a run out of that base hit. Nighthawks go up 4-0 here in the bottom of the first. So now with 2 runners on, Moody on second, and the speedster Johnson over there on third. This could spell trouble for Lake Erie, and it looks like they are going to make a pitching substitution. So a short-lived appearance for Sydney Murray as Lake Erie brings out their second pitcher here in the bottom of the first. We'll have that pitching substitution when we come back in just a moment on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
That's a timeout on betting. It completely changed the game, and you didn't even notice. Let me break it down for you. Betting ads are applying full court pressure and getting you to play the game. Many of you are falling for it and losing big money. Addiction is happening in some more than others. Now players are getting harassed by bettors. And we all know that's not how the game is won. So it's on us to be good teammates and draw the line to stay ahead of betting consequences.
At the heart of America's gold rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership, passion and preparation, transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network, and the new pitcher in the circle for Lake Erie is number 9, Alexa Bailey, the righty sophomore out of Paynesville, Ohio, and Harvey High School. She's going to try to clean some stuff up here in the circle for the Storm. After Murray let up 4 runs in the bottom of the first. And she's going to have to face off against Chloe Poss here, who is making her first batting appearance for the Nighthawks this weekend. She's up in the count 1-0. Takes ball 2. This is Poss's 10th at-bat of the season. Only has 1 hit on her previous 9 appearances up to bat this season. She's one of those utility players for the Nighthawks who can do some work up to bat, and we know what she can do in the circle. Takes the 3-0, cuts it close for ball 4, so Poss not having to do too much on that plate appearance as she loads the bases once again in this inning. And Tegan Laval Masonette is going to have a crack at it here with just 1 out. Everybody on base for the Nighthawks. Poss on first, Moody on second, Johnson on third, as Poss takes ball 1. Or Laval Masonette takes ball 1. Tegan yesterday went 1 for 5, scored a pair of runs. She had an RBI as well. Takes the 1-0 inside for a 1-1 count. That 1 hit by Tegan, a big one yesterday. That hit with the RBI attached to it sparked the Nighthawks' comeback against West Florida when they tied that game up 3-3 in the second. She goes up in the count 2-1. Takes the 2-1, takes a crack at it, but it's going to be a foul ball that soars over the stands here at the Hill. Another great crowd on hand. It's been an excellent weekend of softball here at the Hill. The 2-2 to Tegan as she grounds this up the middle into right center field, and she's going to get a pair of runs out of this to put the Nighthawks up 6-0 in the bottom of the first. Nighthawk bats are red hot early in this one. As they go through the lineup once again, Laval Masonette, the 9-hole hitter today, as Sydney Reeves makes her second appearance up to bat in this inning. And it looks like the Storm are going to make a substitution potentially. So Reeves will take a little bit of a breather here. Head coach Shannon Schaub for Lake Erie, in her first year with the Storm, made her debut yesterday. And it looks like the Storm are going to make another pitching substitution here in the bottom of the first. On to their third. We'll step aside for a short commercial break and have that pitching substitution when we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. And the new pitcher in the circle for Lake Erie, number 17, Addison Nugent. The righty freshman out of Walled Lake, Michigan, and Walled Lake Northern High School. Steps into the circle here for Lake Erie. Nugent was credited with the loss against North Georgia yesterday. Only got to pitch an inning. Allowed 4 hits, 5 runs, all of those runs earned by the Nighthawks. And she walked a pair of batters as well. As Reeves blasts one into right field, and that one is out of here. Somebody better check their windshield because Sydney Reeves just sent one to the parking lot. A 3-run bomb for the transfer out of Montevallo. Nighthawks are having a party here in the bottom of the first. And it's a domination here for North Georgia early, up 9-0 over Lake Erie. There's still just 1 out up on the board as well. This one's blasted into left, and it's going to land in the glove of Taylor. A great diving catch there by the left fielder. Miles a bit confused there, but Taylor did come up with the ball to give us our second out. Natalie Ray back up to bat for the second time in this inning. Takes ball 1. Ray skies one high and deep into center field, and this one is out of here. A pair of home runs in the bottom of the first. Natalie Ray up next. And that's double-digit runs up in the bottom of the first inning as Natalie Ray crushes one over the center field wall. Her first home run as a Nighthawk, as she gets a big hug from Coach Medina in the dugout. And it's all smiles from North Georgia early here in this game. The catcher, Carly Knowles, now up to bat. Base is still cleared for North Georgia. She hits one up the left field line. It's bobbled. The throw to first does not get there on time. So it's going to be another base hit here for North Georgia. Garcia almost made the play. Looked like she got it there on time, but the third base ump is going to rule Knowles safe. So here comes Mary Seal Brumby up to bat for the second time this inning. She's 5th in the batting order as she grounds this to the short, and the throw to first isn't even going to get out of the hands of Lippiat. Puts runners on first and second here for North Georgia. And it's just been tough going here for Lake Erie in this infield early on in this game. Now 4 errors up on the scoreboard for Lake Erie. Johnson now up to bat. Johnson got the scoring started for North Georgia last time she was in this position. Fouls one out of play over into the terrace where we still have a great crowd out there in left field as well. Got West Florida softball watching on North Georgia, dominating the Storm right now. The 0-1 to Johnson as she pops this one up to third, and it's going to land fair as the Nighthawks put up another run. Johnson gets 2 bases out of it. 11 on the board here in the bottom of the first for North Georgia. And it has been just an onslaught for the Nighthawks early in this game, and it looks like Johnson just given a piece of her equipment to Coach O'Hare. It has been quite the Dahlonega debut for Coach O'Hare this weekend. The offense has been lethal in every game that North Georgia has played this weekend. They've put up 31 runs across these first 3 games that the Nighthawks have played in. He tips this one foul. Looked like it may have taken a bounce off of the face mask of the home plate ump as he makes his way out to the circle to give Nugan a new ball. And compared to years past, this offense for the Nighthawks has not missed a single beat. They have just been completely and utterly dominant this weekend. Moody takes the 1-1 upstairs for a ball. Is in the 2-1 count, takes it, fouls it out of play to even up the count. Nugent doing anything she can to just get her team out of this inning. A handful of errors from this infield for Lake Erie. It's costed them a few runs. Takes the 2-2. Moody does upstairs. The count's going to run full. Got Chloe Poss on deck. And the payoff pitch to Moody upstairs for ball 4. And now for the 3rd time in this game, 3rd time in this inning, bases are loaded. And Chloe Poss has a chance to add to the 11 run totals here for North Georgia. Poss was walked last time she was up to bat. Nugent can't afford another one of those here. Pitches ball 1 to Poss in a pitcher-on-pitcher matchup. The 1-0 to Poss. Down the middle from Nugent for strike 1. You got Moody on first, Johnson on second. Brumby in scoring position on third. Takes the 1-1. Outside for ball 2. We're in the bottom of the first inning, and it looks like Coach O'Hare is going to make some pinch hitting substitutions if Poss is able to get on base. Poss takes the 2-1. Low for ball 3. And the 3-1. Poss slams one into right, and it's going to drop at the wall. Johnson comes home, Brumby comes home, and so does Moody. Poss pouring it on here in the bottom of the first. A 14-0 lead here for North Georgia. They have almost matched their run totals from their 15-0 run rule win yesterday. And that's going to cause Lake Erie to go back to the bullpen to make another pitching substitution. We'll have that sub when we come back in just a moment on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network, where Lake Erie has moved on to pitcher number 4, number 21, Lily Turkowski, the freshman out of Fenton, Michigan, and Fenton High School. Just trying to get the Storm out of this inning. With 2 outs up on the board, the Nighthawks have continued to pour on runs, up 14-0. And the Nighthawks have a pinch hitter up to bat in Clara Cheery, the freshman out of Saline, Michigan. Saw her yesterday as she belts one into center field, and this one is out of here. First pitch that Cherry sees sends a gift to the terrace. Complete and utter domination here for North Georgia. It's a 16-run first inning in one of the best innings that you will see out of any team this year. My goodness. This is why North Georgia is the number 8 team in the country. Don't be shocked to see them move up a couple spots here when the new rankings come out. Nighthawks are going to bring in another pinch hitter with the bases cleared. It's going to be number 5, Caitlin Johnson, junior out of Douglasville, Georgia, and Alexander High School, making her first appearance in this game. It's not very often that you get the opportunity to put some pinch hitters in the first, as Johnson just fouls this one out of play. We saw Johnston yesterday against Lake Erie, was able to pinch hit. Reached base on a walk and scored a run for the Nighthawks in that 15-0 win. And if you thought that 15-0 shutout win for the Nighthawks yesterday was impressive, what they're doing today is something special. 8 hits to go along with 16 runs in the bottom of the first inning. Would have to check the record books, but for runs scored in an inning, this has to be up there in those books as Johnson takes ball 2 to even up the count. Got another pinch hitter who is on deck for the Nighthawks. Johnson takes the 2-2, grounds this into center field, and this inning keeps chugging along here for the Nighthawks as Johnson puts a hit up on the board. The hits and the runs are coming so fast that it's hard to keep up. So it is going to be a starter inserted back into the batting order here. Jenna Miles has an RBI in this one. fouls one out of play. And surely this season has to be the most runs scored in a game amongst any Division II softball teams. As Miles, takes ball one low. Takes ball two outside. Highly accoladed freshman coming out of high school, Jenna Miles is. From Hazelhurst, about 4.5 hours south of here. Finds herself in an even count at 2-2. Count is now full. And Turkowski just one strike away from getting Lake Erie out of this inning. And the payoff pitch upstairs, and the inning keeps going. Two runners on base for North Georgia. As we keep this party going. And it looks like Avery Moffitt is going to pinch hit here for North Georgia. The freshman catcher out of Franklin, North Carolina. Also got to pinch hit yesterday for the Nighthawks. Avery Moffitt was walked on her one plate appearance yesterday. And she grounds this one to second, flip to second, gets there on time for out number 3, but not before the Nighthawks put on one of the most dominant innings that you'll see from any team this season. A 16-run bottom of the first for North Georgia, and it has been all Hawks here in this game. We'll see how Lake Erie responds in the top of the second when we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. In the top of the second inning, Lake Erie is back up to bat, and they have got quite the work cut out for them here in this game. And it looks like the Nighthawks are making a flurry of substitutions on the infield as well. Still got Poss in the circle here for the Nighthawks, as she looks to get the win here against Lake Erie. The Storm just had zero answer for North Georgia in that bottom of the first inning. Just total domination, 16 runs off of 9 Nighthawk hits. Multiple Nighthawks making multiple appearances up to bat in that one. A handful of pinch hitters in the bottom of the first. And we'll see what the first baseman, Lillian Campbell, can do here to try to earn some runs back for Lake Erie. She belts one high into center field. Reeves takes maybe 2 or 3 steps for out number 1. That's going to bring up Kai Mortensen, the second baseman. She takes a strike. Nice looking pitch there from Chloe Poss. And not only are the bats hot for North Georgia, but they've also been stellar fielding as well. They've only let up 3 runs all weekend, all 3 of those runs coming against West Florida in their second game yesterday. All 3 of those runs came in the first inning. 2 of those runs came off of a West Florida home run. The 1-1 from Poss upstairs for ball 2. And the 2-1 outside for ball 3. And the 3-1, this one fouled out of play, and so Poss able to work her way back into this count to fill it up. And the payoff pitch, this one again fouled out of play. So Mortensen will get another crack at it here. And another payoff pitch, a swing and a miss as Chloe Poss picks up her second strikeout today. That's going to bring up Sydney Taylor, the freshman out of Plymouth, Michigan in Salem High School. Takes ball 1 high from Chloe Poss. You got to wonder what the message is in the dugout for Lake Erie in this situation. The 1-0 from Poss outside for ball 2. Just trying to show some signs of life here up to bat. This one's going to be outside for ball 3, and so Poss potentially putting a base runner on here for Lake Erie. Has walked 1 batter in this game, that one coming in the top of the first. And this is going to be strike 1. So she steals 1 back. As Taylor was going to make her earn it. And the 3-1 from Poss. This one's belted into right, and Laval Masonette treks up to make the grab for out number 3. Nighthawks leave the inning with a 16-0 lead, keeping Lake Erie off the board as we head to the home half of the second. We'll see if the Nighthawks can add on to their 16-run lead when we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
NCAA athletes don't just compete, they make history. Representing our nation with pride and excellence, they bring home the hardware. Our college campuses serve as training grounds for the next generation of stars. Catch tomorrow's Olympians and Paralympians on the NCAA Championship stage today.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Let's see how the Nighthawks follow up that dominant 16-run first inning here in the bottom of the second with another pinch hitter up to bat here for the Nighthawks. It's the senior, Sadie Johnson, catcher out of Adairsville, Georgia, in Adairsville High School. The longest tenured Nighthawk on this North Georgia team, now in her 4th season with this UNG softball program. She's been a part of some really incredible teams. Has made the Super Regional in every single season. Was a national champion in 2023. With a lot of new faces on this North Georgia roster, she provides a lot of veteran leadership and a lot of stability to this program as she belts one into left and it drops at the 2:05 marker. Johnson's going to go for 2. She gets there standing up. That one sounded great coming off the bat. Nice pop. Lands just over there. Fair at the 2:05 marker. And another double here for North Georgia. And odds are if the Nighthawks get a base hit, they're going for 2 bags. They've consistently been one of the leaders in the nation in doubles per game, and they add to it there with Johnson. Another pinch hitter up to bat here for North Georgia, Ava Lunsford, the utility player out of Elbert County. Fouls one just over the bullpen for Lake Erie. We saw Lunsford in yesterday's game against the Storm. Scored a run while she was on base. Only got to make 1 plate appearance in that one. Transferred to UNG from the Division I school, Western Kentucky. Returns home to her home state after spending her freshman year with the Hilltoppers, as this one will land in right. And runners are going to be on the corners as the Nighthawks add to their hit totals. Now the 11th of the game. And with the lead that Coach O'Hare has, we could see essentially every healthy player on this North Georgia team have an at-bat in this one. Kayla Berry up next. The freshman out of Ackworth, Georgia, and East Paulding High School. Also got to see her hit in yesterday's game. Had back-to-back-to-back seasons with the Raiders at East Paulding High School where she batted .378 or higher. First team All-State member by the GHSA. Was a part of an East Paulding squad that went 24-9 and finished as a 6A Position D runner-up. She takes strike 2. She also graduated in the top 10 of her class in high school, earning a Georgia Certificate of Merit for her studies. So she's killing it on and off the field. And what a luxury this is for Coach O'Hare in this game to be in the bottom of the second inning. And essentially none of your starters have to come back into this game unless it gets out of hand. Barry sees the 2-2, hits one deep into left. It will drop foul, so she's going to get another crack at it here. Barry now the 15th different Nighthawk to step up to bat here in this game. Barry takes the 2-2 and takes ball 3 to fill up the count. Got Johnson in scoring position on third, and she's going to make a break for it home. Gets there standing up. Nighthawks add another run up on the board, and Barry takes ball 4. So the Nighthawks get a run out of that and get a runner on first. They bring a starter back in Riley Moody, the starting shortstop for the Nighthawks. Moody blasts one into left, and it drops fair. That one had a ton of airtime on it over there in left. But nobody home for Lake Erie. That's going to be another base hit for the Nighthawks. Their 12th of the afternoon. Chloe Poss back up to bat here for the Nighthawks. As she takes strike 1. Takes one low for ball 1. And for Lake Erie, this is their final game of the 2025 Mizuno Invitational. Played the first game against West Florida, lost that one 2-15, and luckily they don't have to turn around and have another one after this, as Poss is going to be clipped. And that's going to put a run up on the board here for North Georgia as the bases were loaded. Now 18 runs in this game for North Georgia. And that's going to bring Clara Cheery back up to bat. Only saw one pitch last time she was up to bat and sent one over the center field wall for a home run. That was Cherry's second hit as a Nighthawk, and a big one to help contribute to this massive lead that North Georgia has. Cherry traveling farther than any Nighthawk to come play here in Dahlonega from Saline, Michigan, almost 670 miles north here of Dahlonega, as she hits one to the sky in center field, and it will drop as the Nighthawks are going to get another run out of this. Bases still stay loaded, and Cherry's bat still smoking from her last plate appearance, puts another run up on the board, and with no outs, the Nighthawks have 19 runs up here in the first 2 innings. That's going to bring Caitlin Johnston back up to bat, able to get her second of this game. We are definitely getting up there with the most runs scored in a game for North Georgia. Of course, with how distinguished this program is, even 19 runs up in a game may not be enough to crack the top 5, but with how this game has been going, North Georgia could be on track to do something really special here. As Johnson belts one into center field, and that's going to be caught for the first out. But that sac fly from Johnston scores another run. Nighthawks now with 20 runs in the first 2 innings, leaving Lake Erie just absolutely shell-shocked. So Jenna Miles will step back into the batter's box here for North Georgia. Inserted in the 2-hole for North Georgia as the throw to third gets away. The shortstop, Lippiat, and the throw to third was off the mark. So the Nighthawks don't get a run out of it, but they do again load the bases. That's going to bring Avery Moffitt back up to bat. Nighthawks are starting to run out of batters here in this game. But again, these are the kind of performances that you want to see if you're Coach O'Hare, where you can go deep, deep into your dugout and get some of these players multiple at-bats. As that one gets away from the catcher, Eckert. And the 2-0 cuts it inside for strike one. And the 2-1 to Moffitt's going to be upstairs for ball three. Again, got to go deep into the archives here, but what North Georgia has done in this game has been something special as Moffitt blasts one into left center field, and that's going to be caught for out number 2. But another sac fly is going to score another run here for the Hawks. And almost every North Georgia batter that has stepped up to the plate in this game either has a hit, has gotten on base, or has scored a run out of it. No Nighthawk has been struck out yet. Nugent trying to turn the tide here against Sadie Johnson. Johnson had that double on her last at-bat. Takes the 1-0 and takes it low for a ball. So not only have the bats been hot for North Georgia, but of course their plate discipline has been on point. Takes the 2-0, fouls this one out of play. This one just a perfect example of what we've talked about time and time again with this North Georgia program, both in years past and this year, is they are just one of the hardest teams to keep off the bags. Whether they're getting there from a double or drawing a walk, this team is nearly impossible to keep off the bases. The 2-1 to Johnson is going to be upstairs for ball three. First base is open. So this wouldn't result in another run up on the board if Johnson is walked. Takes the 3-1, slams one into left, and it's going to drop. Sadie Johnson gets her second hit of the day, and she scores a pair of runs on another double. That's back-to-back doubles for the veteran Sadie Johnson. And 23 runs through the first 2 innings, 16 in the first and 7 in the second. The Nighthawks keep this 2-out rally alive. And brings the utility player Lunsford back up to bat. Lunsford, a dual athlete in high school. Also, she won a state championship at Elbert County back in 2022. Was an 8A Region Player of the Year. Won a region championship with Elbert County High School. Was a GACA All-State First Team member that year as well. takes the 1-1, grounds it up the left field line, and the throw to first gets there on time for out number 3, but the Nighthawks pour on 7 more runs in the bottom of the second. It's a Nighthawk entourage in this one. 23 runs as we head to inning number 3 as we step aside for a short commercial break right here on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through.
The whole day, every day, we're thinking about one thing, Georgia's hearts. While you're busy being you, we're working to make Georgia Heart Institute Georgia's #1 heart program. One of only 2 programs in the state offering robotic heart surgery as an alternative to open heart surgery. So whether you live in Atlanta or Athens, in the country or in town, the future of heart care is here for you today. We do it all because Georgia's hearts are always on our minds.
That old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
Georgia Heart Institute.
Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network on a beautiful day for softball here at the Hill. And a historic performance here from the Nighthawks. 23 runs through the first 2 innings, as they have just been unstoppable here in this game. Really leaving everybody speechless, leaving me speechless, leaving Lake Erie speechless, and this North Georgia crowd absolutely getting their money's worth here in the first game of North Georgia's doubleheader. Nighthawks making a few substitutions out there, fielding as well. We got Sadie Johnson behind the plate for North Georgia. Got Lunsford over there now at first. A couple players have shifted over. Still got Chloe Poss in the circle for North Georgia, and with the way that this team has been playing, I can imagine Poss is going to go the distance in this game. Maybe try to save Badalament for game 2. Poss hasn't had to do too much here in this game. And it looks like Lake Erie is going to make some substitutions of their own. And vice versa, looks like they're just going to try to get some players some extra run in this game, and maybe some that don't get to have as many plate appearances. Try to get some runs in against one of the best teams in the country, the number 8 team in the country, North Georgia softball. They were the number 8 team coming into the season. And that is yet to change. Should have some updated rankings pretty soon here. Can imagine that even though North Georgia, they dropped their first game of the season at the Gulf Shores Invitational, from how they've looked from there on out, can definitely anticipate them cracking into the top 5 or even higher. So it looks like Jasmine Gonzalez, the senior catcher, is going to be up to bat here for Lake Erie. The senior out of El Modena High School. And it looks like the home plate ump is going to have a conversation here with North Georgia's dugout as well, just to go over all the substitutions. And it looks like we are, again, ready to rock and roll here at the Hill. Lake Erie trying to steal some runs back as the home plate ump is going to make those substitutions known to our press boxes up here at the Hill. So it looks like we finally have all of our substitutions in here in the top of the third. We are ready to play softball once again. Gonzalez last season made 22 appearances for the Storm. Started 21 of those games. She had 13 hits last year in her 57 at-bats. Had 4 RBIs and a pair of doubles. Got some action in behind the plate as well. Threw out a pair of base runners from behind the plate. Takes the 2-0 low for ball 3. As Poss looks down at her wrist, gets the signal. Delivers the 3-0 upstairs for ball 4. So that's going to put a base runner on first for the Storm. As it looks like they make another substitution. Bryn Gillen, the senior out of Mayfield Heights, Ohio, and Mayfield Heights High School. A 3-time academic All-GMAC recipient as she bunts this one into the Nighthawks dugout. Nice fielding there from assistant coach Medina. Gillen appeared in 27 games last year, started 19 of them. A speedster, she's able to get on base for Lake Erie. Finished second on the team last year with 7 stolen bases. She went 9 for 50 at the plate. She did draw 6 walks, scored 6 runs in 2024 for the Storm. Poss up in the count 0-2 as Gillen takes one back to push the count to 1-2. Lake Erie bringing the Storm a long ways to Dahlonega from Paynesville, Ohio, 11 hours and 700 miles north of us. You got to think some of that travel is definitely playing a little bit of a factor here into this weekend for Lake Erie. That is just a tough trek to make down here to Dahlonega. The 2-2, this one's going to be fouled. Especially with this 2025 Mizuno Invitational serving as the season opener for Lake Erie. And both of these teams that they're facing, North Georgia and West Florida, got to open up their season at the Gulf Shores Invitational where they got 4 games under their belt as Poss picks up another strikeout. But both the Nighthawks and the Argos, they got to get up to game speed before coming to this Mizuno Invitational. You know, West Florida having to do some travel as well, but not as much as Lake Erie has in this game. Of course, North Georgia, the home team. Lots of advantages there, being able to keep your routine intact. You know, eat the same food, sleep in your own bed, and you're playing in front of your home crowd here, the Nighthawk faithful. You do have some loyal Lake Erie fans in attendance, as this is going to go right to the glove of Moody. Makes the throw to first just in case, and that's going to be out number 3 as we head to the home half of the inning. Nighthawks running away with this one, 23-0 your score as we step aside for another short commercial break on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
No matter how you connect, ETC delivers fast, reliable internet and secure, powerful Wi-Fi choices for your home. For intense gaming, easy sharing, and buffer-free streaming on every device all at once. With local experts ready to help. Connect to faster internet. Connect to awesome Wi-Fi. Connect to now. Call or visit etcnow.com to upgrade your internet today.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Lake Erie rolling with number 13, Kai Mortensen in the circle. The freshman from Williams, Arizona, and Williams High School is going to try to keep North Georgia at bay for the rest of this game. And what has been one of the best performances we've seen from the Nighthawks in quite some time. Kayla Berry's going to get another chance at it here. The left fielder was walked on her first plate appearance today. As she takes ball 1 from Mortensen. The 0-1 to Barry is going to be low for a ball to even up the count. Barry takes ball 2. North Georgia picks second in the 2025 PBC softball preseason poll behind Columbus State, the team that beat North Georgia in the PBC Tournament Championship, a series that the returning players on this North Georgia team definitely trying to put behind them. Was surprised to see North Georgia pick second in the preseason polls behind Columbus State, but because they were the PBC Tournament Championship and a force to be reckoned with in Division II softball, they earned the right for that number 1 spot in the preseason rankings. And another pinch hitter is going to come up here for North Georgia. Number 54, Ansley Watson, the sophomore catcher out of Central High School in Smith Station, Alabama. Pinch hitting here for the Hawks. She made an appearance against Lake Erie yesterday. Had just 1 at-bat in Saturday's outing. Had an RBI. Takes the pitch outside for ball 1 from Mortensen. Mortensen shifting over from second into the circle. This is just her second appearance of the season. Throw to second. Gets there on time. And a nice play there from Lake Erie's infield to get the out as Barry makes her way back into the dugout. Puts our first out up on the board here in the bottom of the 3rd. Could potentially be looking at another pinch hitter here for the Nighthawks. And it looks like Angelina Badalament is getting ready to step back into the batter's box. The pitcher utility player from Plant City, Florida, making her first appearance today. And she was lethal yesterday. 2 hits, 3 RBIs. One of those hits, a home run. And she was just doing it all for the Nighthawks in their 2 games against the Storm and the Argos. In addition to that home run, she pitched 9.1 innings, had 0 earned runs when she was in the circle, and had 10 strikeouts. Just a sensational performance from the transfer out of Grace Christian High School. She grounds this one to short, and the tag on the base at second is made for the out. A heck of a play there by the shortstop for Lake Erie to make the stop for the second out. Maddie Eckert, the freshman out of Oxford, Michigan, making that play. Clara Cherry stepping back into the batter's box. Cherry 2 for 2 today with 3 RBIs. Her first hit a home run as she blasts one into left, and that's going to be caught for out number 3 here in the bottom of the third. So for the first time in this game, North Georgia leaves an inning without a run-up on the board. They still lead this one by a wide margin, 23-0, as we head to the fourth. We'll step aside for another short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
That's a timeout on betting. It completely changed the game, and you didn't even notice. Let me break it down for you. Betting ads are applying full court pressure and getting you to play the game. Many of you are falling for it and losing big money. Addiction is happening in some more than others. Now players are getting harassed by bettors. And we all know that's not how the game is won. So it's on us to be good teammates and draw the line to stay ahead of betting consequences.
At the heart of America's gold rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership, passion and preparation, transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
Chloe Poss still in the circle here for North Georgia as they are looking for a shutout over Lake Erie here in this game. It has been just an absolutely sensational performance as the Nighthawks moving on to a new pitcher, so it is no longer Chloe Poss in the circle. It's going to be Gracie West, the freshman out of Commerce, Georgia. Had a distinguished career at Commerce High School. Was the 2022-2023 Pitcher of the Year during her junior season with the Tigers. She was a first-team All-Region member during her sophomore season. Another one of those multi-sport athletes in high school. The throw to first gets there on time, but it is going to be a foul ball. Gracie West also playing basketball and ran track and field at Commerce. And she's making her collegiate debut today with North Georgia. It's got to feel good if you're in the situation for Gracie West. Not a whole lot of pressure on you right now, and can play a little bit more freely in this game as this 2-1 pitch is going to be fouled out of play. And Maddie Eckert, who made a heck of a play in the infield to put an out up on the board here for North Georgia, is up to bat. Eckert, a 4-time All-District member in high school, All-Region member as well, as this is going to be caught for out number 1. CJ Garcia, the senior out of Garden Grove, California, back up to bat. A multi-time academic All-GMAC recipient. Started 30 of 32 games last year for the Storm. And she's going to have a quick plate appearance here as she is dinked on the foot by Gracie West. And this is back-to-back seasons that Lake Erie has had to open up their season here in Dahlonega. 2024, they came to Haynes and Carolyn Hill for the North Georgia Leadoff Classic. And we mentioned yesterday, and we touched on it a little bit today, it's kind of been a disadvantage for Lake Erie the last 2 seasons, with this being their season opener. The Nighthawks already with a handful of games under their belt before this one to get back into rhythm. And the Nighthawks were 10 games into the season last year before Lake Erie come to Dahlonega to play their first game. So they were already well a ways, a good chunk into their season before Lake Erie's had even started. As this one from Gracie West cuts it inside for strike one. Lily Turkowski up to bat, the freshman out of Fenton, Michigan. Swings at that one for strike two, and the throw to second gets away from Miles. So it will be a stolen base here for Lake Erie. Turkowski, an all-state honorable mention back in 2024, was an all-region member the same year. Won 3 all-district awards with Fenton High School as well. Won a pair of district championships, batted .430 during her high school career. Had almost a 50% on-base percentage. Takes the 2-2, but she's going back to the dugout on this plate appearance as Gracie West picks up her first strikeout as a Nighthawk. That's going to bring Lillian Campbell up to bat. Spirits still high in the dugout for Lake Erie. The junior out of Maumee, Ohio, and Anthony Wayne High School. A 2-time academic All-GMAC recipient. Won it back-to-back years in 2023 and 2024. It's going to be another stolen base here for Lake Erie as a runner is in scoring position for the first time since the first inning for the Storm. The 0-1 from West. That one low for the first ball here on this at-bat. Campbell started 30 of 32 games last season for Lake Erie. Was second on the team in batting average at .301. Takes the 1-1 and takes a big crack at that one. May have just gotten a piece of her barrel for strike two. So it looks like the infield here is going to talk things over with the freshman pitcher, Gracie West. Got a senior behind the plate for North Georgia and Sadie Johnson. And again, this is where that veteran leadership comes in with Sadie to just get Gracie's head back on track here to try to get this final out of the inning. And the 1-2 from Gracie just outside for ball two. Deuces are running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Lake Erie looking to put their first runs up on the board. And the pitch, this one is popped up high into left, and it's going to be caught for out number 3. Lake Erie still donuts up on the board. North Georgia looking to add to this dominant 23-0 lead in the home half of the fourth when we come back. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network on a sunny Sunday afternoon here in the Gold City of Dahlonega, Georgia. In the home half of the fourth, North Georgia has been firing on all cylinders, up 23 runs, looking to add to that here with Caitlin Johnston stepping back up to bat. Johnston, another veteran on this North Georgia team, in her third season with this North Georgia softball program. And she's going to be dinked on this at-bat. Quick plate appearance for the junior. Was a member of the national championship team in 2023. That's going to bring Jenna Miles up to bat. Reach base on a walk, still looking for her first hit in this one. Has an RBI. Grounded out and flew out on her last two plate appearances. And the hits are coming from all over for this North Georgia team. 9 different players have recorded a hit here for the North Georgia Nighthawks. 4 multi-hit games coming from Reeves, Johnson, and Cherry. Caitlin Johnson and Sadie Johnson, the 2 Johnsons to be specific. Jenna Miles up in the count, 1-2. And the payoff is going to be outside. Correction, that one not a payoff pitch. That one just a ball outside from Mortensen for ball 2. And the 2-2 to Miles as she hits this one right to the glove over there at third, and the out is made at first. A sensational double play made by this infield for Lake Erie. And in a game where the bats just aren't working here for the Storm, their fielding in the last 2 innings has definitely taken a step up here. So now that's 2 quick outs on the board here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and it looks like Coach O'Hare is going to make another substitution. And what a Dahlonega debut this has been for Coach O'Hare in this game. It's going to be Journey Roberts stepping up to the plate for the first time in this game. Sophomore player out of Livonia, Georgia. Started a lot of games over there at third base for North Georgia this year. Position that was held down for many years by Gracie Mixon. And Roberts, second year with the program, she has been a seamless fit over there at third to begin the season for North Georgia. And over the 3 games that North Georgia has played in this weekend, they have put up 43 runs. As Roberts grounds this to short, and the throw to first gets there on time for out number 3. The Nighthawks looking to close things out in the top of the 5th. When we come back, you're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Oh my goodness. Nighthawks looking for back-to-back shutouts over Lake Erie here in the second to last game of the 2025 Mizuno Invitational. Shut out Lake Erie yesterday 15-0, and you didn't think that North Georgia could top that today, but they certainly have with 23 runs in this ballgame, 16 in the bottom of the first and 7 in the second. The fielding for Lake Erie woke up in the last 2 innings, kept North Georgia off the board. They're going to try to steal some back here as the no-hitter, combined no-hitter for North Georgia is now spoiled as Mortenson's able to get the first hit this weekend for Lake Erie. Nighthawks still looking for the shutout here. The bunt here from Taylor. Throw to first, gets there on time, but that sac bunt puts a runner in scoring position. So Lake Erie's just looking for any signs of life here late in this ball game against North Georgia. It's going to bring the catcher, Jasmine Gonzalez, back up to bat. Seen a flurry of different batters for Lake Erie in this game as well, letting some of the starters get a little bit of a breather. The 1-0 from Gracie West, a big swing there from Gonzalez, but a miss, and the tag at third is not going to be made. So the count's going to be 1-1 for Gonzalez. They got a runner over there on third in Mortensen. And in multiple innings, Lake Erie has put a runner in scoring position, but North Georgia has been able to strand every single runner from this point out as there's another big swing. Gonzalez, but a miss. You got to wonder what's on the minds of West Florida coming into this matchup against North Georgia. Following the conclusion of this one, seeing the Nighthawks put up 23 runs over Lake Erie, as this one is going to be blasted into left. Lake Erie is going to put their first runs up on the board against North Georgia on that sac fly to left field. Puts an out up on the board. So Lake Erie showing some signs of life late here in this one. Just unfortunately dug themselves too deep of a hole to climb out of in this ball game. This one's going to be low from Gracie West. The senior, Bryn Gillen, back up to bat. Trying to mount a little two-out rally here for the Storm. But Gracie West, with other plans, pitches a strike down the middle. "14 hits and 23 runs. Not a single error for this North Georgia fielding in this game. They're going to call that ball 2 from Gracie West. And for Coach O'Hare, you really couldn't have asked for a better trio of games here at the Mizuno Invitational. Still got a big matchup coming up against West Florida after this one. Putting up 43 runs over 3 games is something special, and that final out here in this game is going to seal the deal for North Georgia. A complete and utter domination in this game for the Nighthawks. A 23-1 win here for Coach O'Hare and her Nighthawk squad. A 16-run bottom of the first, followed up by a 7-run second inning, is all she wrote here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill. All cylinders North Georgia was just firing today. Chloe Poss and West combined for the shutout against Lake Erie, or excuse me, they do let up a run against the Storm, but 23 runs up on the board here for the Nighthawks. A historic and dominant performance, going to be one to remember here at the Hill. we have got another great matchup coming up on the Nighthawk Sports Network between North Georgia and West Florida in about 30 minutes right back here on the NSN. Nighthawks are going to take a little bit of a breather, trying to keep those bats hot with the final game of the 2025 Mizuno Invitational coming up very soon. On behalf of Robert D. Clementi and my producer, Aaron Panu, this is the Nighthawk Sports Network signing off for now. We'll be back with you in about 30 minutes. Nighthawks have one of the best games of the season. Win this one 23-1 in Dahlonega.